Top TV, Truth of the People.
Hello viewers and welcome to Top TV Kenya. This is the lifestyle show with me, Sophie Achieng. Today we're going to be talking about love relationships. In society today, people are falling in love every other day, but unfortunately, they don't remain or stay in love. We find that men and women come together, boys and girls even nowadays, because it seems like there is an influx of love relationships. There is no, the way it used to be before, that you reach a certain age or maybe you come of maturity and now you're able to settle down as a man and a wife. Nowadays, girls and boys as young as maybe 10, 15, it's just a crazy scenario. But love relationships in general, why do people fall in love and yet they do not stay in love? To help me talk about this, or to help me understand more about this topic, with me in studio, I have a gentleman whom I'm going to let introduce himself. Please, karibu sana.
Thank you for having me on
You're
stage
much
today.
welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Well, my name is Daniel Sirengo. I am a media personality. I'm an author. I'm a writer.
Wow.
And I also do mentorship programs for the young people, especially the pupils in primary schools as well as those in high school.
That's nice.
That's my target group.
That's nice.
I'm also a married man. Wow. I'm married to one wife.
One wife, so you had that.
Yeah, I'm a family man. We yet to be blessed with kids.
You definitely will, in God's time.
We hope so.
You will.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome, Sana, Daniel. So, Daniel, I want you to take us through this love relationships boat, if I can call it that, because I like to think of it as a boat that is constantly sailing on uncertain waters. Man meets woman, boy meets girl, and it's love at first sight. People they declare their love for each other, they promise each other heaven. You know, all of a sudden, everybody else ceases to exist, and it's just the two of them, and wedding bells are certainly around the corner, and all they have in their minds or in their hearts or whatever, it's just an they're thinking of the happily ever after, like the Snow White and
the bed of roses.
those fairy tale stories. But unfortunately, the reality on the ground is that as soon as people fall in love, they fall out of love. As soon as men and women come together in love relationships, they just fall apart. What do you think is the problem, Dennis?
Well, I think just from I want to build my contribution from the question that you've asked. Because at the moment, you've just said that they meet, then all that rings into their mind is, let's get together. And I want to make myself clear, because love is a process.
Okay.
And it's a process that will always remain to be work in progress. Never at any given point, love will be a complete product.
Yeah, it's not a one-off
It's not a one-off kind of thing. And it is much more into just thinking that I like this person.
It goes beyond that.
It goes beyond that. It has to, you see, your mind has to agree with your heart that despite of what I'm seeing, there might be something else that could be hidden.
Yeah.
What if that thing happens? What if it pops up tomorrow? Will I still be loving this person? And so I think most of the people at the moment, they get into marriage relationship basically inspired by infatuation, how they have been confused in their minds of the beauties and the goodies at the moment.
Yeah.
But
when you say goodies, what do you mean?
You see, we are all inspired, or rather motivated, to love people, or not really love, to like people with their material, whatever they come along as their material resources.
Finances maybe.
Yes, and the looks, how they dress, you see, all that. But do you take a moment and ask yourself, what if this person what if we wake up one day and he does not dress the way I saw him?
Yeah. They change all of a sudden.
Yes.
These things that I saw are no longer there. Okay.
So you need to soul search from your heart. And true love exists in the heart, not in the mind.
Okay.
Yes.
The mind is
The
temporary,
mind, yeah,
the heart is forever.
infatuation happens in the mind because I look at you and you see, men are visual beings.
They
When I look at
definitely
you, I might even take you to bed in my mind. And once my mind is convinced that we can do it, then that is how it happens.
You'll find a way to make sure that it
But
does.
if I consult my heart, okay, the mind has seen something, is agreeing on something. What about you?
Okay.
So if the mind does not consent to what the mind says, it's important to wait and give it time to grow.
You know, at this point that you're talking about the mind and the heart, it reminds me of, there's a time I used to love a certain, let me not call it a cliche, but it was a phrase
Yes.
that what the eyes do not admire, the heart does not desire. So I'm trying to like reconcile the two, but anyway, that's a story for another day. So what you're saying is people fall in love first in the mind,
Yes.
without consulting the heart,
heart.
and they come together in a setup of a relationship which is destined to fail, because as you're putting it, the mind only lasts for a while.
For a while.
Okay.
You see, the mind will always develop into a situationship, but the heart will develop into a
I
relationship.
like that.
Yes.
I like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So, in your experience, like you've told us that you're a married man.
Yes.
Maybe you can just share with us, if it's okay with you, for how long have you been married?
Well, okay, I'm a newlywed.
You're newlywed.
I'm newlywed.
So newlywed is like
I'm
1
like,
week, 1 month?
A month.
A month,
Since I wedded my wife. And this is a lady we had dated for 3.5 years.
Wow.
So you can imagine.
So
I took the 3.5 years to make sure that this heart of mine is in tandem with my mind, that this person is the right choice, with the advantages and the disadvantages she comes with into my life. Yes.
because in a 3 years period, you were able to actually, let me say, discover one another, to know each other's weaknesses, to know each other's strengths, so that you can complement one another in that.
And
so
amalgamate together to form
Exactly.
one strong union.
Because like the Bible says, when you get married, you cease from from being two different individuals into becoming one flesh.
Yes,
The reason I'm asking you why you are married is because so many marriages today are unlike the marriages in the past. We find that in the past, when people got married, like our forefathers, it was till death do you part. Nowadays, it's usually, or most of the time, it's until another lady or another man does us apart, or until a financial or a health situation does us apart. So that thing to do with marriage has stopped being a lifetime commitment, but it has now become, I can just say it's like a contract that is maybe renewable by, it's like you're getting married or you're getting on with somebody to like vent this person, see if maybe akiwa venye ninapenda for this particular time, and then he or she changes, or I feel, because sometimes it's not that the person has changed, it's maybe because you yourself or whatever reasons that you went for this person has changed, so you want to get rid of the relationship, so it doesn't take you into a lifetime commitment. So I think that it's something of concern when people stand before the altars taking those wedding vows, and you're standing before, let's say, a priest or a man of God or whoever is at the altar, and before the entire world, and you make those vows that you're going to remain with your spouse forever. The only thing that's going to come between the two of you is death.
Yes.
And then you just go and renege on those vows, you renege on those promises with reckless abandon. It's really a sad thing. So
Very sad.
what do you think, Dennis Sirengo, what do you think about the vows in marriage? Again, I'm bringing you back to the reason why I asked you for how long have you been married. Do you think that there's a time that when it reaches those vows, for whatever reasons, because people have different reasons, and you cannot like dictate to people
like how they should.
Yeah, we cannot dictate to them. So do you think that maybe it's high time those vows that we take in church need to be maybe changed?
They need to be reviewed.
Yeah, reviewed. Yeah.
Well, to some extent, we might say yes, but just why do we have to say yes? When we say yes, it means we will be giving in to the pressure that is coming from these irresponsible behaviors.
We'll be conforming.
We'll be conforming to them. And when we say no, we will still be taking that hard stand, that hard line that people are failing to meet the standards. But from my own perception, I think it's important, first of all, to understand what inspires these spouses to get into this serious relationship that is going to take them into marriage. As I had said earlier, there are people who come into marriage with different motives.
Yeah.
Maybe I come from a very humble background and I have found an opportunity to date somebody who might bring some solution to myself and our family financially. See, that could be the motive.
So it's a marriage with benefit, kind of.
Yeah, it's a marriage with benefit. But you see, that is where we start getting it wrong. Because it is evident, true love happens in the heart. And when you get, when you remove the goodies, let's say the financial support, when you remove the romance from that relationship, when you remove like the smiles and every other thing, and you still find out you care about that person you love, you have, that is true love.
Yeah.
But if, right away from the word go, I know very well that if he can decide to step up, to step out of the house in without putting on that wristwatch that I saw him first with, then it means he has begun to lower his standards. I'm lying to myself, as well as lying to him. Now, the vows that we do take, that people normally take while they are wedding, I think people should revert to the past where these vows had their meaning completely. Because why do you go to take those vows just to please somebody for some few time, and then at the end of the day you go astray?
Or you do it because it's tradition, so you're just following tradition, but in reality,
and it's wrong. Because if I want to do a wedding because my parents, the background, okay, maybe they're religious and they are for the wedding.
Yeah.
If I want to do the wedding because of them, I'm lying to myself, not to them. If I want to marry because my parents are advising me to marry from a certain tribe, I'm lying to myself, not lying to them. And these are some of the challenges that young people are facing at the moment, because you might be loving somebody truly out of your heart, but that is not the choice of your parents or your guardians. So they end up influencing your final choice of entering into a marriage. Okay, I just decide to marry from this tribe because that makes them happy. At the end of the day, you realize you can no longer persevere.
Yeah,
so you have to part ways.
Because, like you say, it's not from the heart.
It's not from the heart. Yes, it's not from the heart.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well said. Now, there's this other thing that, oftentimes I've had men say that the reason why they maybe exchange ladies, or they keep maybe moving out of one relationship to another, okay, we mentioned a bit of it also, is that because the ladies end up changing. Like when they first met, probably she used to really go out of her way to look wonderful, to look great for her man.
Yes.
But the moment she gets into the marriage setup, and she's now a wife and probably a mother, she's just something else. So most men complain that this is the #1 reason that makes men to turn, the other side, and just maybe start having flirtatious relationships on, in secrets, and maybe end up having girlfriends. And before you know it, the marriage has crumbled and crashed altogether. So I been battling with this myself, because I cannot, on one point, I cannot say that it's a lie. Some ladies actually have the talent to really let go of themselves completely.
True.
But what do you make of a scenario whereby you find a man with a drop dead gorgeous kind of a wife, like really beautiful wife, hourglass figure, or I don't know what they call it, figure eight, and blah blah blah, and she's clean and she's got all these attributes that a sane man would want. And remember, this is your choice. You married this woman. So let's say that for some reason she has not let go of herself and everything, but you will still find yourself, you know, having the same problem that you're talking about here. What can you say about that?
Well, that is a very good question, and allow me to expound further
Go
as
ahead.
I answer.
Please go ahead.
You see, we are living in a generation whereby we are talking about gender equality. And there has been a very famous campaign, the girl child education, the girl child empowerment, all that. This is something that has been done in a manner that to some extent, it has built up this girl child who is expected to be a wife at some point, to grow up with the notion of revenge.
What do you mean revenge?
You see, it has been coined in a manner that, okay, being a girl, how are you going to be empowered? You only be empowered when you get those positions that men used to occupy in the past. And now when you get there, you're going to make sure that this man feels it on his skin, in his heart, in his mind, that you surely are there. You get? So it's a matter of showing off. I'm also here because I am here. And this is happening from one side, and the other side, the boy child is neglected. This boy who is expected to be a husband at some point is not being prepared to handle an empowered woman. Now, these two characters get together in a union, and it is total clash. Clash of interest, because you are a working citizen, I'm also a working citizen. So you have your own space corporately, I have my own space corporately. But in the house, you now want to bring the bossship of the corporate world into the house. I grew up knowing that the man is the head of the house. Now, if you are the head of the office has to be left in the office. And when you get into the house, you have to submit as a wife.
In other words, what I'm trying to get from what you're saying is like this empowered woman that you're saying.
Yes.
When you get to that level where the corporate ship and what have you has become part of your life as a man, I mean, as a woman and as a wife.
Yes.
So does it have to do with things like maybe decision making in the homes that
Definitely.
are bonds of contention?
Definitely.
Here?
Definitely. Because what do I mean by saying that you take the corporate world into the social world, like in the family setup? You might be a man. Maybe let's say you're making a decision to do some investment in your backyard. But in the first place, this lady did not even like your backyard. And she's like, what the hell are you doing? Didn't you see somewhere else to invest that there?
She's like pouring cold water.
Yeah, and you're like, and it does not end there. She'll make you feel belittled. She's like, okay, that is what you do, and you'll never get to a point of succeeding in life.
Like that's your best. That's the best.
And she's like, okay, this is where I want us to go and invest. It's not bad. Investment has to go with time. Allow me to invest where I have first thought about. Help me. Then, after we have developed where the first investment, we can take it to the other places. Now, another thing about ladies, like literally neglecting their own personal grooming, it is also another bone of contention. Because maybe I loved you because you used to wear a bra.
And right now you're going freestyle.
And right now you're like, yeah, whatever comes, it should come. You see, the little things that matter. And the little experience I've had with married couples, you see, most of the times you get, when God blesses that young family with a child, the attention of the woman, of the wife, is now shifted to the child.
And that's a very common complaint, by the way.
It is very common. But why can't we view this opportunity like, okay, you are the wife, and I am the husband. In as much as you are the mother, you are my wife. You need to balance, just strike a balance.
Don't be biased.
Don't be biased.
On the babies.
It's true, this little boy or this little girl really needs you more than anything else. More than anything else. And at the same time, she or he needs me more than anything else. But I need you and you need me.
Okay.
So together, we can grow up this family knowing that this is what we truly believe and this is what we came together first before this kid was found. So we need to maintain the pace, the tempo.
The egg and the chicken
Yes,
story. Well, my director is cautioning us against time, but I think it's been quite an eye-opener. It's really interesting what you have shared with us. I think I'm getting to have this feeling that maybe we should try and continue this in another show, in another because
session.
It seems like we have so much to talk about.
There's more much to explore.
So for today, we are going to call it a day. And viewers, I hope that you have learned quite a lot on this. Ladies, men, everybody out there who is into relationships or who are trying to get themselves engaged or involved in relationships, maybe you can, take a point or two about what Sirengo has said and maybe apply it onto your own lives as we continue in this journey of relationships. Well, until next time, I have been your host, Sophie Achieng, and this has been the show, Live Right, Stay Healthy. Please keep it Top TV.